We have this big development now coming in from the Supreme Court. The court has passed an interim order now on the multiple petitions challenging the Waqf law in the court. The court has now granted Centre a week's time, we understand, to file its response to the petitions challenging the Waqf Act.
It's been, a day of dramatic development as far as the challenge to the Waqf law is concerned. The court, at least granting interim relief to the petitioners, has also streamlined the entire petition process. Only 5 petitioners will be considered from the next hearing. Important provisions, the contentious one, which have been under the discussion as far as the court is concerned. The court has asked the centre not to do anything as far as the law is concerned, whether it is Waqf by user or also appointment of people of other religion as far as the Waqf Council or the board is concerned. Apart from that, denotification process by the district magistrates, all these 3 important contentious provisions have been put on hold. The next hearing, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be on May 5th.
All right. Multiple reactions also coming in. We have my colleague Nupur Dogra also joining us from outside the Supreme Court. Let's first listen into what Asaduddin Owaisi has said. He's been, of course, quite critical of the Waqf law also. We have more reactions coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party leader Amanatullah Khan. Listen in.
Honorable Supreme Court, as rightly pointed out by my counsel, Mr. Nizam Pasha, the Supreme Court has said that the Central Waqf Council and the State Waqf Boards will not be constituted. Waqf by user cannot be deleted. Now, there are other provisions also, which we as a party have come to the Honorable Supreme Court that calling it unconstitutional. Now, whenever it will be heard, our counsel, Mr. Nizam Pasha, on behalf of me, will be arguing it.
देखिए, मैं तहे दिल से शुक्रगुजार हूं आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट के तमाम जजेस का, तमाम वकीलों का, जिन्होंने आज धर्म से ऊपर उठ करके हमारे लिए खड़े हुए, मेहनत की, साथ दिया इस मुल्क को बचाने का। तो मैं आज हम इस फैसले से पूरी तरह से मुतमईन हैं। जिस तरह से आज केंद्र सरकार ने आकर कहा कि जो भी हम किसी किस्म का कोई रजिस्ट्रेशन हम नया नहीं करेंगे, कोई छेड़छाड़ नहीं करेंगे, जो वक्फ बाय यूज इस्तेमाल होती आई हैं प्रॉपर्टियां वो रहेंगी, जो मसाजिद हैं, जो दरगाहें हैं, जो कब्रिस्तान हैं, तमाम ऐसे ही रहेगा। और वक्फ के जो मेंबर हैं उसके अंदर भी किसी किस्म की वो छेड़छाड़ नहीं करेंगे।
Right, so reactions coming in thick and fast on this story. Of course, remember, there is a big political connotation to this as well. But Nupur, let me bring you in at this moment. 2 important aspects. Number one, 5 petitioners will be heard from here on. So how will it be decided who are going to be those 5 petitioners? And number 2, what happens to the petitions which were put by BJP-ruled states? They wanted to be a party in this case. What happens to that now?
Well, first of all, the Supreme Court has said that it cannot be that 100-200 petitions are filed and they continue to be they continue to be filed. And so, keeping that in mind, it has asked the petitioners to decide that five councils and 5 petitioners who will be the lead petitioners in this case. Rest of the petitions, the Supreme Court has said, that will be considered as disposed of, or if they have anything new, any new question of law, then they will be treated as IAs, intervention application. So 5 lead petitions will be, the petitioners will decide among themselves. Senior Advocate Kapil Sibal, while appearing for petitioners, said that they will sort it out at their own level, that who will be the 5 lead petitioners and how they will continue from here on. Now, secondly, coming to the second question, the Supreme Court has the states that have filed the petitions, they will continue to be there. The part where the Supreme Court said that he will be here, they will be entertaining only 5 people. It was for the people who were challenging against this new Amendment Act. These state governments had in fact moved the Supreme Court, seeking that they should also be heard before any act, any order was passed on this, as they also had some arguments to make on the same, as the centre has done. So all in all, by the next hearing, the Supreme Court said that this case case will be notified as Waqf Amendment Act, and petitioners' names won't appear like it is now. So this was basically to streamline the hearing after from here on. So how the hearing will take place, that is what the Supreme Court has clarified.
Even as the court has just passed an interim order, it hasn't put any stay or an interim stay even on the Waqf law. Till the next week, at least, we understand when the hearing would start. This definitely puts the centre on the back foot somehow. Well, we understand the centre has been aggressively pushing for the Waqf law. It got passed by the parliament also, and yes, got the president's assent as well. But we understand this somehow puts the centre on the back foot, and the centre will have to give a reply after 7 days. On what aspects is the court asking for more clarity from the centre?
See, first of all, it is definitely a back foot move by the centre, because before the Supreme Court could pass a partial stay on the act, the centre has itself assured the Supreme Court that till the next hearing, the status quo will remain. The apprehensions, the 3 apprehensions that the Supreme Court has raised yesterday with regards to them, that is Waqf by user property. Secondly, making appointment of non-Muslim members to Waqf board and council, and thirdly the powers vested in the collector. So they will remain, nothing will happen with when it comes to these provisions. So the centre has given assurance to the Supreme Court, and that's why today the Supreme Court, taking this submission on record, has said that it will hear the centre out again after 7 days and then decide whether there has to be a partial stay till the entire hearing is completed. Now this, remember, the court has said that entire hearing can take 6 to 8 months to complete. So till then, that would a partial stay by the Supreme Court would mean that till then this stay would operate. But for now, as we understand, till the next 7 days the status quo will remain, and the centre has appealed to the Supreme Court to hear them out on all the provisions and not pass any order based on prima facie reading of the provisions. The centre told the Supreme Court that these provisions were in fact formulated after thousands of consultations, and legislature has done it has passed a well-concerned law, and that's why the Supreme Court should hear the centre at length before passing any further order. So taking this in mind, the Supreme Court said, okay, come after 7 days and ask the petitioners to file a rejoinder to the centre's reply within 5 days of that, and the hearing will take place on May 5. So May 5 will be a very important day with regards to what happens next when it comes to implementation of the Waqf Act.
So status quo continues till the time the next hearing takes place, but that doesn't mean that there has been any stay or on the law as far as the centre is concerned, but the court doesn't want the status to be altered while the hearing is on as far as this entire case is concerned. Thank you, Nupur, for joining us with all those details. Let me also bring in at this moment Asad Abbas, political analyst, supports the Congress party. We'll also be going across to Momita Chakrabarti in a short while from now. She is a political analyst leaning towards the BJP. But Asad Abbas, let me start by asking you this. The initial observation, or at least what happened in the court today, only suggests that there is room for argument that the court deems fit, at least on 3 contentious issues. It can neither be seen as a victory or any kind of relief for the petitioners.
I definitely say, Ankit, that with great power, there's great responsibility and equal accountability. I think the bench led by Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna ji, scrutinized key provisions of the legislation, including the derecognition of established Waqf by user category of properties, the inclusion of non-Muslims in Waqf administrative bodies, and the power granted to the state to change the status of disputed Waqf land. As a matter of fact, also we need to understand when Tushar Mehta Sahab, representing counsel of the centre, was asked a question with respect to the inclusion of Muslims in Hindu Endowment Board. And rightfully so, they've been given a week to file their response. But let us understand that keeping the mind of those anti-Waqf bill, this interim order is a step in the right direction. We need to understand that the most important part here is raising the question, Article 26 of the Constitution, which says every religion has all its might to manage its own properties. Therefore, since the Waqf structure is very much a part of the Muslims, that question is raised, understood, and rightly so brought in the interim order by the Chief Justice. Let us understand that no Waqf by user properties will be de-notified until the next date of hearing.
Okay.
Also, no appointments will be made to the Central
Okay.
Waqf Council or State Waqf Boards until the next date of hearing. So therefore, I definitely see this as a step in the right direction.
Okay, you are saying
And,
it's a
yes,
step in the
looking
right
forward to
direction,
it.
but definitely not a victory for those who've been opposing the law, and not a clear setback for the government. The government still has room for, to give more clarity or to convince the court that it wants to go ahead with the Waqf law, and how these provisions are, rightfully being added in the Waqf law. Momita Chakrabarti, political analyst and supporter of the BJP, also now joins us on the broadcast. Ms. Chakrabarti, was the government really ready for this? We understand the court has given out this order today. It's an interim order. There is still room for more discussion or room for more clarity to be given to the court, as it has sought from the centre. 7 days' time now has been given to the centre to reply in the court. But the government perhaps was not really, ready for this.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. So if I talk about that, the question you have asked me, I need to tell you one thing, and we all need to understand that apart from BJP, all the political parties are doing the vote bank appeasement politics, to be very honest. BJP is the one who is trying to balance between two communities and all the communities, like minority communities. They are trying to give the mileage to the platform to the minority communities. That's why the Waqf bill, thing was raised in the parliament. At parliament. Okay. So there was nothing to divide the community and when it was said that to a political, non-Muslim person will be there in the board, it was to make the balance between all the communities and castes. So there was nothing to worry that they will not be, the Muslim will be, the Islamic communities will not be given any kind of, am I there? Am I audible?
Yes,
you
please
are,
go
ma'am.
ahead.
Am I?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay,
please.
okay. See, so it was wanted to create any sort of vote bank politics. It is completely made to make the balance between every community, and that is why I tell everywhere
if you allow me to intervene at this moment, you are well within your rights to make that assumption that the government is doing. Well, there are others, those who have a different point of view as well. But the fact remains, let's talk about what happened in the court today. Legally speaking, at this moment, like Kitty was asking, it seems that at least at this moment, all the questions that the opposition was asking in the parliament while this bill was being passed, the court thinks that at least on 3 of those questions, there is room for argument, there is room for legal scrutiny to be done. And that is something that will be seen as a setback to the government, isn't it? Because the government steamrolled the opposition's charges, or at least their concerns on this.
Sorry, can you just repeat again? I just missed the last question.
I just want to understand from you, do you think that the it's a setback to the government because these are the same provisions that the opposition had a problem with? Now the court at least has agreed to look closely as far as these provisions are concerned.
See, I have nothing to say over Supreme Court because this is the highest court in our country. And I don't comment on that. But whatever the government has done, it is for, the parliament issues, whatever it was raised, is to maintain the balance between the communities itself. And
Okay,
to be very...
Can I
Okay,
counter
Mr.
that,
Abbas.
please?
Mr. Abbas also wants
Yeah.
to make a point there. Mr. Abbas, go ahead.
Yeah, I was listening to Momita ji. It's great, the intention of the government, knowing from you, ma'am, is to create a balance between the communities. That's great and very much welcomed. But let us understand what the court has said today. In fact, yesterday, a question was asked to Tushar Mehta Sahab on the same front, that will Muslims be allowed on the endowment boards? Let us understand that our Constitution of India, the holy book, which we understand, the Article 25, 26, 29, various articles speak of the professing of a religion, practicing of religion, managing affairs of the religion. religion, protecting the rights of the religion holders. So therefore, this question will always arise. We will leave the contention with the courts in order, but we also need to understand that the Bar Council of India has also raised apprehensions with respect to the powers of the state, and between the state and religion interests. That's where the role of the district collector or the district magistrate comes in. So therefore, I think the Supreme Court today, in its initial interim orders or discussion, has brought in a fact with respect that no Waqf by user properties will be denotified until the next date of hearing. Also, as a matter of fact, let us understand that no non-Muslims or any appointments will be made by the Central Waqf Council or even the state Waqf boards.
But
So
Asad
therefore,
Abbas,
these
can I then
important
ask you this? I mean, like you've been saying that at least, like I said, it can't be seen as an interim relief or any victory because it's only the court is scrutinizing closely these questions which have been raised by the opposition. But the fact remains, how does the opposition, the more the opposition parties, including Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi or from the Congress party, if they keep pushing this, the opposition runs the risk of playing on the BJP's, wicket, on the BJP's pitch when it comes to electoral politics. You are being seen as siding with just one community. You are being seen as the BJP, in fact, accuses the Congress and the opposition of appeasement politics, sir.
That's a very good question, Ankit Saab. As a matter of fact, I would look at it as a young Indian Muslim. I'd say that Asaduddin Owaisi is not the representation of all the Muslims. I'm glad that there are over 100 or about 200 petitions there, and the Supreme Court has asked that moving forward there would be only 5 petitions coming forward. So therefore, Kapil Sibal ji has also replied that yes, they will discuss amongst themselves and they will come forward with it. The court has also said 5 council and 1 nodal council for equal communication and better dialogue and discussion to be taken place. Rightly so. Supreme Court ka jo order hai Saranko par. But the fact is, I absolutely do not think that this is Muslim appeasement or a minority appeasement of any front, because many of our Hindu brothers have also filed in their petition against this unconstitutional act. So there are many representatives, councils, advocates who are also
but what are you expecting? We do understand the court, of course, now has asked for a a reply from the center, and after 7 days the hearing is of course going to take place. But after this long drawn process, a JPC was constituted which had members of the opposition also in it, and there was a discussion that happened on the Waqf bill. Then it was passed by the parliament, due process was followed, the president gave the assent, of course. What are you expecting? Before I come to you, Mr. Abbas, we understand Ms. Chakrabarti also wants to make a point. I'll just come to you.
Okay.
Yes,
sure.
Ms. Chakrabarti.
Yes. So, ma'am, can I make this answer in 10 seconds?
Okay.
With respect to the Joint Parliamentary Committee, absolutely, ma'am, and I'm glad that it was a constitution. And also, I have great respect for the parliamentary debates. I'm glad that the debates took place in the Lok Sabha, in the Rajya Sabha. I think that is a sign of a healthy democracy. But let us understand the Joint Parliamentary Committee members like Sanjay Singh, like Kalyan Banerjee, like several others did say that Mr. Jagdambika Pal, the chair of the JPC, held unilateral meetings. He bulldozed many a times. He stonewalled the members. So therefore, that has been a serious charge on Mr. Jagdambika Pal. So even the JPC which was constituted was not satisfactory enough. None of the members of the JPC from the opposition side were happy with this.
Ms. Chakrabarti also wants to counter that. All right. Okay, Mr. Abbas. Ms. Chakrabarti wants to make a point there. Go ahead.
Again, I'm telling you and repeating the same thing, like this Waqf 25, this is a landmark, and that was reformed by the BJP government, aimed to maintain the transparency, accountability and the secularism, the management of the Waqf parties. For the decades, the properties were controlled by the small group with a little public oversight. But BJP is now ensured that, they have actually created some lists that why it is required. So now, that public land that cannot be just legally taken over.